princess consort.
Do you remember what you promised me back in my chamber? If I were also a stubborn girl, just like Miss Hong, would there be a chance that Your Highness would fall in love with me?
But in my opinion, she's the best doctor I've ever seen. After all, she cured the Empress Mother.
Miss Han, if you're afraid of doing it, you can give up now.
Kwani mimi pale ninapoenda kumwona Dr. Zero huwa na umwona.
So utakumaanisha kuwa mimi na shida ya akili, sio?
Hii nyumba imekuwa fumbo hii. Sielewi, sijui kuendelea nini.
I'm tired. Maybe you can play later.
Na sulikuwa uendelea tu vizuri mama.
Unaitabidi the next of kin ndo atie saini, ambaye ni Maya.
Wakili, hatuna muda wa kupoteza.
There are 1,600 elephants in this population. Each one is known by name.
2009, there was a very bad drought, and they were just lying down and kick and die.
We believe an elephant is a kind of a human being. They also do communicate, and also they can understand you. This is Wildlife Warriors, and I'm Paula Kahungu.
I'm still the acting governor. Umuhimu ni kwamba ashakalia kile kiti.
Sije kupendeza tu zangu. Sielewele.
Nelea, matumizi yenu na mshahara utapungua.
Sawa, huyu gavana tumshinde. Alafu watoto wake nao warudi tena kusumbua. Utafanya nini?
What is it saying?
Tumwake unga.
What? Ani ya Mungu hata ikopotia.
Alikuwa ameiba mpaka hii sahani.
Na hata roti.
Hata wewe ulijaribu mpaka pani, oka pani roti na wewe.
Unaona hii sura inakaa namna gani?
Na hii maji angalia. Hii watoto yangu wanataka kukula, tunawaambia tutakuitia makoa. Bwana moga.
Mpaka Mungu unaiba. Ulikuwa unaiba huyu Mungu wake umpeleke wapi?
Mungu nilikuwa nataka nimweke kwa kabati.
Hello and welcome to Self-Care Tips. I am Irene Joroge and we're going to talk about your handbag. Everybody is attached to their handbag. It is a very important part of us. We use it every day. We need it every day. Now imagine if you're so disorganized and this happens to you. Your phone rings and you're in front of your boss or in a meeting or somewhere in front of people and you have to rummage through your bag. You can't get hold of your phone and you're forced to remove all sorts of things like this. imagine how you'd feel. This is really, really very, very embarrassing. Therefore, it is important and very crucial to keep your bag organized. And the easiest way to do this is to compartmentalize your bag. By compartmentalize, you see how things are falling. We mean having little nice cute bags like this inside your handbag. This is where you place your makeup and other personal effects so that they don't fall everywhere in case you need to look for them, in case there's an emergency and you have to rummage through your bag. You don't have to have them everywhere. You can also have another one for your phone. Keep your phone separately in its own separate space. You can have another one like this for other things like your money, your cards, and other, little things that every woman carries. Remember, keep your bag organized, keep it neat, and when you change your bag, because we change our bags almost every day to keep up with our clothes, to match our clothes, don't forget your crucial items. This is Self-Care with Irene Njoroge. Thank you.
To be back in school.
Watoto, it's important for you to learn how to properly wear your mask, to stretch your arms, social distance, and properly wash your hands this COVID-19 season.
Great idea, Elsa.
Join Captain Tumaini this Saturday on Big Mind at 9 to 10 a.m. to learn more.
This program was made possible through the support of USAID and Ministry of Health.
To our valued customers, listeners, and viewers, we thank you for being our valued partner. KBC is grateful for the pleasure of serving you, and we hope to continue meeting your expectations. Happy Customer Service Week from us. We celebrate you.
Good evening, welcome to Prime Edition. I am Cynthia Nyamai. Now, some good news when it comes to COVID-19. Kenyans who are fully vaccinated from Monday will be able to visit the UK without being subjected to some of the rules that they were facing earlier on. I do have those details for you coming up shortly, but first, let's have the highlights.
I've agreed with the board on a very aggressive method of reviewing even the billing system at the KPLC to ensure that it not only passes muster, but it addresses some of these challenges that we have.
Relief as government promises to reduce electricity charges. Here comes the next suitor. One Kenya Alliance woos vote-rich Mount Kenya region. Responding to drought, government begins distribution of livestock feed. Now, the government has suspended all ongoing power purchase agreement negotiations in a move aimed at lowering the cost of electricity. The raft measures being implemented to make electricity more affordable also entail forensic audit of Kenya Power and reviewing billing systems. Betty Kiptum reports.
The Presidential Task Force on Review of Power Purchase Agreements was constituted in March this year in response to concerns on the high cost of electricity for both individual consumers and businesses.
Clearly, our bills are unsustainable as they are today. We cannot continue this way. So we have agreed with the board on a very aggressive method of reviewing even the billing system at the KPLC to ensure that it not only passes muster, but it addresses some of these challenges that we have.
The key findings of the John Ngumi-led task force include the vast differential between KenGen and independent power producer tariffs and electricity dispatch allocations, the lack of proper demand forecasting and planning, leading to irreconcilable projections as against demand, the existing risk allocation imbalances between KPLC and IPPs, further exacerbated by poor contract management frameworks, and an uncoordinated institutional architecture that contributes to enhanced operational costs passed on to consumers. Interior CS Fred Matiang'i met with the Kenya Power Board and the Ministry of Energy officials to begin implementation of the task force's recommendations. The meeting marked the start of a 90-day implementation period that will bring down the cost of electricity by 33%.
Our bills are too high. We have looked at several aspects. I need to say here candidly that we have taken certain tough decisions, especially in relation to the PPAs. For example, effective now, we have suspended any negotiation on any new PPAs. We are going to deal with the PPAs that we have in place.
Part of the recommendations include review and renegotiations with independent power producers to secure immediate reduction in power purchase agreement tariffs within existing contractual agreements, as well as KPLC to undertake a forensic audit on the procurement and system losses arising from the use of heavy fuel oils. The high cost of electricity has pushed many Kenyans to dig deeper into their pockets. The government has now assured that within the next 90 days, they will be paying less to afford electricity, and ultimately the cost of goods will come down. Betty Kiptum, Prime Edition.
The One Kenya Alliance has asked the Mount Kenya Foundation not to have hidden cards as it negotiates the stakes of the vote-rich Mount Kenya region ahead of the 2022 general election. But in a thinly veiled statement, MKF pushed for unity between OKA principals and ODM leader Raila Odinga during the Safari Park 2 luncheon assumed every aspect of dowry negotiations. Kevin Washira with the details.
Barely a week after ODM leader Raila Odinga engaged the Mount Kenya Foundation on 2022 succession politics, the businessmen from the mountain invited the One Kenya Alliance principals to the same venue. The Mount Kenya Foundation spelling out the interests of the Mount Kenya electorate, which any candidate seeking the Mount Kenya support must address.
It's not going to give us the environment to do that too. Whether here in Drought, in Nakuru, in Mombasa, anywhere in the entire country. Unless the OKA team remains united, if they go differently, it's not good for us as Mount Kenya.
Kikuyu elders challenging the One Kenya Alliance to join hands for smooth negotiations.
Out of the 5 men, which one is the brainer? So, the 5 men came to visit us. Which one of them? Because the principal checks are already wanaume watano. Kwa hao watano mimi tutaamini. The most energized.
each of the One Kenya Alliance principals reminding the Mount Kenya electorate of his deeds that showed he was a friend of the mountain.
I'll be going everywhere in the mountain to be talking about Mogadua in real terms. Therefore, I'm here to present to you as one of you in every respect.
You know, the newspaper said many times about Mount Kenya that you are restless, that you are anxious, that you are frightened, that you are fearful. We stand here to tell you, Munga, until fear no more. You are in safe hands.
If you are a businessman in Nairobi and you are a landlord, how do you feel when your houses have been occupied and you have never gotten restitution for those houses? These are the questions. Who can you trust?
The One Kenya Alliance leader spoke of national unity as key as the country heads to the elections, asking Mount Kenya voters not to vote in fear. The engagement between Mount Kenya Foundation and One Kenya Alliance principals coming a week after Mount Kenya Foundation met with Raila Amolo Odinga now opens the door for the presidential hopefuls to enter the central region and sell their agenda. Reporting from Safari Park, I'm Kevin Washira.
Thank you, Kevin Washira, for that report. Now, still in politics, Deputy President William Ruto has told off his political competitors, accusing them of focusing more on criticizing UDA bottom-up agenda instead of explaining to Kenyans their campaign. Speaking at a meeting with the youth in Kilgore's town, Narok County, the Deputy President said he has teamed up with like-minded leaders to champion on economic revolution in the country.
Dana na wao, mimi nataka niwaambie hivi. Sisi tuko na agenda ya bottom up economic model ya kuinua watu wa chini wasiokuwa na kazi, biashara yao ni ndogo, kilimo yao iko chini, tuinue ndio twende pamoja. Nyinyi hamuna agenda. Agenda yenu ni kupigana na Ruto. Mimi nataka niwaambie my friends, tafuteni agenda. Bure mutazama. Tafuteni track record ndio tushindane na kwa wananchi wa Kenya waamue. Sisi tuko na hustler movement na chama ya UDA ambayo tutatumia kuunganisha wa Kenya ili tuwe na uwezo wa kusukuma agenda ya sera na vile vile kuunda serikali. Siasa ya Kenya safari hii itabadilika. Haitakuwa siasa ya viongozi, itakuwa ni siasa ya wananchi. Haitakuwa ni siasa ya vyeo, itakuwa siasa ya kutafutia hawa kijana kazi kwanza. Ama namna gani?
Kenya has stepped up its COVID-19 vaccination drive to achieve its target of vaccinating 10 million people by December 2021. The Ministry of Health on Thursday launched the Public Service Transport Operators COVID-19 Vaccination Awareness Campaign at Railways Bus Station in Nairobi.
Speaking during the launch, Health Cabinet Secretary Musahi Kagwe called on the transport stakeholders to ensure its members are vaccinated.
We don't want any border rider to die. We don't want any matatu conductor to die. We don't want any bus driver to die. When you have been dungwa, wewe ukiwa umedungwa, wewe ni shujaa. Count yourself kama shujaa. Kwa sababu you are saving Kenyans.
Kagwe noted that the government was also set to vaccinate 5 million Kenyans during the month of October. He said that a majority of Kenyans, including those in the public transport sector, have suffered since the virus was first reported in the country in March last year. Transport Cabinet Secretary James Macharia called on the players in the sector to observe the set guidelines even as they go about their daily businesses.
In the buses which you use, you don't know who is getting to those buses. Hamjui. Hata bodaboda, ukibeba mtu na bodaboda hapa nyuma yako, hujui ni nani, ametoka wapi. Kwa hivyo, kupatiwa chanjo wewe mwenyewe, unajikinga wewe mwenyewe.
Kama ile cashless, tunataka tuone kama pia tutaweza kuifanya, ndio tuone kwamba watu wetu washikashike pesa. Tuendelee kufuatilia zile protocol, sio kwamba tuachie leo.
With the recent importation of more vaccines, the government hopes to hasten the march to herd immunity by 2022. Yusuf Far reporting for Prime Edition.
Now, I'm just reading a statement. It's on Twitter by the British High Commission, where they say, we are pleased to announce that from Monday, those fully vaccinated in Kenya can travel to the UK without having to quarantine or take a COVID test before departure. Thanks to the strong partnership with the Ministry of Health of Kenya, we have completed the process to recognize vaccine certificates. That announcement has just been put up on the British High Commissioner's social media page on Twitter. Now, still on COVID, the country's COVID-19 infection rate has dropped slightly to 3.4% after 218 people have tested positive for the disease in the last 24 hours. The Ministry of Health says the number was confirmed from a sample size of 6,350, taking the total number of cases confirmed so far to 250,728. In the latest statistics, 3 more deaths have been recorded, all of them from late audits conducted in October this year. The death toll now stands at 5,178. Globally, over 235 million cases have been reported, with the number of fatalities now at 4.8 million as per data from Johns Hopkins University. Meanwhile, over 4 million COVID-19 vaccines have been administered nationwide. Now, moving on, the government is distributing livestock feeds to drought-hit counties to avert further livestock deaths attributed to drought. Speaking in Ladgara, sub-county Garissa, after flagging off a consignment of 12,000 bags of animal feeds, National Drought Management Authority Response Manager Siana Lambara says that the highly nutritious animal feed will boost animal health and safeguard cattle from effects of drought.
According to the NDMA official, the project, procured at a cost of 262 million shillings, will address animal malnutrition.
Tumeona Garissa County imepata gunia 12,000 na tunatarajia kwamba gunia hizo 12 itaenda ikisaidia wananchi na kuokoa ng'ombe 12,000 katika Garissa County. Kwa hivyo hii ni baadhi yapo ya mipango ile serikali imeweka pamoja na wadau wale wengine kuweza kusaidia jamii kukabiliana na makali ya ukame.
The government has begun the distribution of the 2 billion shilling relief to counties hit hard by drought. Speaking in Kilifi town, Defense CS Eugene Wamalwa said the food was acquired from the Galana Kulalo project.
Ile timu yetu inasimamia mambo ya chakula. Kando na mchele, maharagwe, mafuta na vyakula vya watoto, tunataka mahindi yatatoka hapa Galana kulisha Pwani, na mahindi mengine yatoke Cereals Board kulisha kule Turukana, Wajia, Mandera na kwingineko.
Finally, the Kenya Red Cross has initiated a food distribution drive in Turkana. Speaking in Lodwar, Deputy Secretary General Annette Musabeni said the relief aid will address malnutrition among the elderly and children.
There is lack of water, there is lack of food, there is lack of pasture, and also we are seeing children exhibiting signs of malnutrition. We are seeing animals degrading. In fact, the situation really is bad.
Yusuf Hilo, Prime Edition.
Now, the National Assembly wants the government to conduct a security operation in Marsabit to rid the vast county of illegal immigrants. A report by the Peter Mwadhi-led Security Committee called for decisive action by the Ministry of Interior to flush out bandits from the region and resolve the perennial clan wars. Debate on the report in response to a public of security in Marsabit presented through SACU MP Dido Raso, however, so tempers flare over sentiments seen as politicizing of security.
This committee is being used by some people somewhere
to play, to propagate local politics of hate, of division, of intimidation. Mr. Speaker, personally, I have brought 2 statements regarding the insecurity of the people of Isiolo to this House in July. To date, nothing. I have not gotten a response. Mr. Speaker, last year, I raised 2 questions on issues of insecurity. Nothing.
The same member of parliament, he wants to benefit from the privilege of this House to bring amendments to fight certain communities. Mr. Speaker, we are fair. We are fair and we have evidence. This committee has relied on the recommendation from the ground, the communities of Marsabit, the County Security Committee, the National Intelligence Service, NCIC, and the committee of this House. So please, Mr. Speaker, we do not want politics of Marsabit. We do not want politics of division. Mr. Honorable Raso himself, we have evidence. And Mr. Speaker, if you allow us, we can bring evidence to this House.
Now, those of us who don't come from northern Kenya, please do not play party politics. Please, you come from the lake, you come from the mountain, you come from the rift, you don't know what is happening in the north. No, Honorable, you know you eat fish, we eat camel. Don't shout at me.
When you take it away and you don't have enough police forces, then you make the communities vulnerable. And that is why we are saying, if you cannot deploy adequate forces, then give us KPR where there are gaps.
Just going through your comments. Remember, you can send us your feedback on KBC Channel 1. And Peter Onyango says we should have a long-term solution for the price of power or the cost of power. We'll take a short break, but when we come back, more business stories for you.
Between 30 and 40% of all buildings in Kenya are considered to be unfit for human occupation. The verdict, rebuild or demolish. But what is the way forward?
A lot of buildings have been found to be unfit for occupation, and this is after an investigation was carried out by NCA and the National Building Inspectorate, and especially on the eastern parts of Nairobi, where there is a lot of development in the so-called low-cost housing.
This week on Inside Government, we discuss the safety of our buildings with the chairman of Boards of Registration of Architects and Quantity Surveyors, Sylvester Muli, Architect, right here on KBC Channel 1.
Welcome back. We're so glad that you're still here with us. Now to business news, where Kenya and Barbados have signed 3 key bilateral agreements that include cooperation in aviation and trade. President Uhuru Kenyatta expressed optimism that the agreements will see increased economic ties with the Caribbean nation.
President Uhuru Kenyatta and Prime Minister Nyamai Motley have today witnessed the signing of an air services agreement, an MOU on the development of the National Botanical Gardens of Barbados, and another on the establishment of a joint committee on trade and investment in Bridgetown, Barbados. President Uhuru Kenyatta pointed out that Kenya and Barbados have been championing increased ties between Africa and the Caribbean Community Common Market CARICOM.
Together, we also started and spearheaded the need to have the very first ever Africa CARICOM Summit. And this was something that we discussed when my sister visited Nairobi and was supposed to be held on the sidelines of Chogam last year.
They therefore represents for us that confidence that our journey is the right journey and that we are seeking to reverse effectively centuries of separation, and that we attest today that not even COVID can keep us apart with that commitment.
The two nations are focused on deepening people-to-people interactions to facilitate intra-trade between the two countries. Kenya and Barbados are banking on the private sector to spearhead economic ties. Direct flights between the two nations and improved ceilings have been touted to boost bilateral ties.
Too many Caribbean people or African people who, in wanting to visit each other's countries, are told, you have no visa. If we do not seize the moment as we are trying to do now, then we will forever be victims of a time and a power over which we have no control. The time being history and the power being others who have other interests.
Kenya plans to upscale its training and research on electric and hybrid cars. This is part of a strategy to develop and modernize the automotive engineering sector. The country has already partnered with South Korean engineering giant Hyundai to open a state-of-the-art hybrid and electric car engine simulator center in Machakos County.
Kenya is seeking to regain its automotive engineering edge in the region that has almost been killed by the import of used vehicles. Already the government has drafted the National Automotive Policy that lays a clear roadmap to revitalize the country's automotive industry. Under the plan, Kenya will limit the importation of vehicles older than 5 years and phase out diesel and petrol-fired vehicles. The policy further seeks to make Kenya a regional hub for electric and hybrid vehicles. Today, the government has inaugurated a state-of-the-art hybrid and electric car engine simulator center at the National Industrial Training Institute in Machakos County. The center is part of the Hyundai Dream Center, which is among other 7 dream centers in the world. Labour Cabinet Secretary Simon Chelugui has said the training center will enhance the existing facilities for the automotive industry to modern standards and develop capacity for the youth through industrial training.
It is also on this backdrop that our Big Four economic blueprints has identified automobile industry as one of the Kenya manufacturer sectors that will be key in the achievement of the country's industrialization and economic transformation.
And this Dream Center aims to support Kenyan youth with practical education on automotive maintenance, access to academic and field trainings, as well as linkages to industrial placements and employment opportunities.
Young women and girls are still the most affected and are far less prepared for the labor market than their male counterparts.
This partnership is therefore important in paving the way for outlining the approaches for prioritizing and development of standards that shall guide industrial training in the automotive ecosystem.
Hyundai is a South Korean engineering conglomerate with interest in automotive and marine engineering household equipment, among other sectors. For Prime Edition, I'm Safin Acheng Ouma.
There are 1,600 elephants in this population. Each one is known by name.
2009, there was a very bad drought, and they were just lying down and kick and die.
We believe an elephant is a kind of a human being. They also do communicate, and also they can understand you. This is Wildlife Warriors, and I'm Paula Kahumbu.
Welcome back. We change gears now to sports, where Kakamega Governor Dr. Wycliffe Oparanya has signed an MOU with the organizers of the Sports Personality of the Year Awards, SOYA, to have the county host the third SOYA Awards in January 2022. Oparanya added that the event will boost the image and economy of the county.
Speaking during the signing ceremony at the county headquarters, Governor Oparanya appreciated the organizers led by world marathon record holder Paul Tegat for choosing Kakamega to host the event.
Through these awards and recognitions, youth have been socially transformed, various sports disciplines have been promoted, and careers in sports have been defined.
He said the recognition and award of sports personalities who have displayed outstanding performance in various sports locally, regionally and globally signifies the good gesture and altitude from Dr. Tegat, who is the founder of the awards.
I wish to call all the sportsmen, sports lovers and members of the public to get vaccinated against COVID-19 virus as we look forward to resumption of normal sporting activities in all sports disciplines.
He regretted that sports have been hit hard by COVID-19 pandemic, which led to ban of sports as one way of containing the spread of the virus.
Now to some exciting news, where the national soccer team Harambee Stars will take on Mali tonight in a crucial 2022 FIFA World Cup qualifier in Morocco. Engin Fiat's men will be looking forward to register their first win to keep their world qualifying chances alive. The match will be beamed live right here on KBC, on Signet and other free-to-air decoders.
The Engin Fiat's men will be looking forward to register their first win to keep their World Cup qualifying chances alive. The Eagles currently top Group E with 4 points, 2 points ahead of second-placed Kenya, who have only managed 2 draws in 2 matches. This will be only the third meeting between the two sides, and Kenya are yet to register a win against Mali.
We will do our job to the last second, and we will do our best that the people get satisfied. And because for us this is match very important to see how we can play against the top team, and if we are ready to play against the top team, and I have a good feeling that we will be ready.
The last meeting came in Group B of the 2004 African Cup of Nations, where the Eagles registered a 3-1 victory. Kenya are currently unbeaten in 6 games, with 3 draws and 3 wins recorded, while Mali have just 1 win from their last 5 matches. The match will be beamed live on KBC Channel 1. Daniel Mwendwa, Sports.
Well, we will be airing that match for you right here on KBC. Do not miss out, and we wish Harambee Stars all the best. That's it for now. I wish you a good evening.
Vera Beauty College.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College, with branches in Nairobi, Eldoret, Thika and